first aircraft is an F-18 at the 90. Stand clear to port catwalk and fire line. Stand by to recover aircraft. This is a drill. Through the ages, they bravely gave their lives. We'll always break its word. No matter, we'll still follow this song for freedom. The battle rages on.
Welcome everybody to the Battle Rhythm Podcast. My name is Caesar. I am back again at my home studio this week because it's just been a crazy week at home and it's been a crazy week at work. So I decided to be like, you know what? I need to stay at home for today. And it's also, it's been really windy here for whatever reason. And I just didn't want to get blown away as I already am. I'm already being blown away. So it's kind of crazy. So if you live in the Texoma area here, locally, we have been, I think the wind gusts have been like something like 35 miles per hour. And nothing crazy like the Santa Ana's back in Southern California, because I remember growing up in the 90s. There was some times that were just really, really bad. So anywho, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're broadcasting live today on Voice of the People Radio and TV Network, also on Patriot Radio, and on BUC Digital Media here in the local area, Texoma area, Sherman, Denison, and the surrounding areas. So thank you guys for being with us today. I hope you guys enjoy the show. I have a really exciting show today. I have the one and only Richie Onori from the band The Sweet. And if you guys will know exactly who it is as soon as I start playing. Well, I'm not going to play the song because of copyrights, but you know, it is what it is. But I can definitely sing it or try to sing it. It's the song. I remember doing this little, back in the 90s. And this is the first time I heard this song was in a little movie called Wayne's World. And Tia Carrere was the one that was actually singing it. But Richie was the one that actually, played it in the original song with the band. So it was called Ballroom Blitz. And I was like, oh my God, that's a great song. And, being an aspiring drummer, I learned how to play that song, even though I had no drums, but I still learned how to play it. I mean, nobody could say that I wasn't a good air drummer. So there was nobody judging me, and I really didn't care because I was playing in the car. So it didn't matter. So it was awesome. But yes, so we're here. So thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, we are going to be joined here in a few minutes by Mr. Richie Onori, also by Darlene de la Plata, who is, they're going to tell us about their foundation, which is called People for a New America. And we're going to also talk to Jesse Moore, who is also involved in their organization, but his initiative is actually Veterans First. So we're going to talk to all of them today, and we're going to get down to the down and dirty about why they love this organization so much, why they love helping veterans with everyone. So it's just awesome, and the fact that they're here with us, and I'm just so excited about it. So with that said, we are going to bring in our first guest. Actually, our first two guests. It's Richie and Darlene. So please welcome to the stage, Jesse. Now, Jesse's not even here yet. What am I doing? Like, I knew I'm looking right at it, everybody. So right now I'm looking at Richie, who is already like chomping at the bit, and also Darlene. So with this, I bring you our interview of the week. Oh, it didn't play all the way. What the heck? Just happened. Just stopped. All right, here we go. Interview of the week. It's a live show when things just go wrong and you just don't expect them to go wrong. And that's what happens when you hire the worst people in tech to ever do it. So hold on, let me fire myself real quick. Okay, you really got to get it together, man. All right. I have to pep talk to myself.
I can't do that, but it looks fun, right?
Yeah, I think I can. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Richie, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Well, you're welcome. It's great to be here, and it's all about the rhythm. You know what I'm saying?
It is about the battle rhythm, exactly. Darlene, thank you for being here with us as well. So I'm just excited that you guys were able to all come together at 6 o'clock your time, because it's 8 o'clock my time on a Tuesday night. So thank you so much for being here. And is there anything that you would like for us to know, for the viewers to know? First and foremost, Richie, let's start with you. Introduce yourself to the world. Actually, that people already know you, but to the world of the Voice of the People, and also the Patriot Radio and BUC Digital Media here in Texoma. So, Richie, please take it away.
Well, I've got a song that I is in the can. It's called "Power to the People." So that means a lot, and it's very well produced. And I have a lot of songs. Besides being the drummer of Sweet, I'm a singer, songwriter, and performer, guitarist as well. So my name is Richie Onori, and of course, besides everything musically, what I do, I started People for a New America back some time ago. It was conceived actually in the teens, like 2015 or maybe a few decades before. But it's People for a New America. It's a 501c3. And what's great about what we're doing is that it's really driven by, you could say, a spiritual sense. So I'm the executive director. I'm also the founder and visionary of People for a New America and the function of People for a New America. So I'll let you have some questions at it to maybe ask more about it. I'm not going to roll out everything about it, but all I say is we've got some great works. We've got things to really change the world. We are the Solution Revolution. And after we did the Unity, Peace, and Freedom Festival, bringing all the races and religions together and unifying mankind, which we did October 26th, now we're off towards the veterans and working towards that way. So we really am supporting the veterans, and they need attention, and that's our first priority right now.
Right. So let me first give the background here. You and I were introduced through a mutual friend, Tom Cass, and he called me earlier today. He's like, "Hey, you guys are doing the interview today, right?" I was like, "Yeah, it's Tuesday, man. You remember that?" And he says, "Well, tell him that he's doing a great job, and tell him that he's just awesome." So he wanted to send his high regards and everything. So he's just like, just tell him I'll talk to him later on. I guess, Tom is high energy, love the guy, and he's just always. He reminds me of I want to say like a hurricane. He's just all over the place, trying to focus it in one. I'm like, okay, Tom, we're right here. Let's just focus on one thing. Let's do the interview real quick. It's all over the place. Love the guy. Don't get me wrong. Love him. But he really he wanted to be. He says he wants to come back to the show and bring you on and do all that stuff. So that's gonna be fun. So, but yeah, that's who it was. But that's how we were introduced. And he said, yeah, no, Richie has a very good heart for veterans, or actually for the community itself, not just veterans, but great music, great musician all around. And so he's like, no, this is the person you want to talk to, because their foundation and their organization is great, and they're out there helping a lot of different communities, a lot of people. So let's start with the fact that you mentioned that the People for a New America. So you said it started about in the teens, 2010s or so. What brought you to actually start this organization? What gave you the idea of like, maybe I should just start this and let's just go with it?
Well, that goes deep, okay? And it goes deep because, believe it or not, it's how do you really find your purpose in life and what's most important? And so it starts usually from like I said, spiritual sense. So everybody has deep, so many people have this spiritual sense. Well, I happen to be, I had a vision in 1989. And it set a course for me to change my life. And I always knew music will change. And I said, why me? It was that kind of thing, that moment. And it took a lot of decades to all of a sudden realize I know why me, because I was developing, and I was creating a name for myself, and all these things that happen, that why you're sent. And if you stick to your vision, So as I went through that, I did a rock opera in 2015, and it had Robbie Wyckoff from the Roger Waters Band, Pink Floyd, who did David Gilmour. I had guys from the Eagles. I had the bass player from David Lee Roth Band. There's 17 cast members, and I was on this huge stage. This was mocked up on stage, and here I am talking on behalf of People for a New America, this big concert, this big festival, and you could hear the cheers coming. They were piped in,
Yeah.
And I'm up there and I'm doing this thing and, gonna save the world. And, and we, 17 cast members, we had people, the whole thing. I mean, it was wild. I staged it 3 times. So when 2000 happened and I did 8 marches across the United States, that was another way of looking at the corruption and the greed that has infiltrated our country. Right. And a lot of these things are being unearthed now. So call it prophetic, call it whatever it is. But musicians have this vibration to bring people together. And on October 26th, that when we brought everybody together with the Unity, Peace, and Freedom Festival, and PFANA, hosted that with so many great acts that we did. So I was actually able to manifest that and standing up there in front of everybody, doing exactly what I did in the rock opera. And it had nothing to do with me. I'm just a vessel.
He's muted.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. No.
You can hear me, Darlene, right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, we just can't hear you, Caesar.
The little microphone mute on the screen.
He's muted.
Well, we can keep going. So.
Yeah.
There you are.
I'm telling you, okay, so I told you about the winds, right? They're like really hard. So whenever it rains, whenever there's high winds, it always affects the internet around here. I don't know what it is, and it's annoying because you're in the middle of like saying good stuff, and all I hear is dead silence. It says it just immediate. I was like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me this is happening right now. And it's embarrassing because it just is.
No, it's part of life.
You know what, Caesar? It's a devil's wind, okay? Getting in the way of spirit.
It is.
Yeah.
But
it's the enemy. That's it.
Yeah. So Richie, I have a couple more questions. Obviously, we have a 2-hour show, so we're gonna get to all these questions. But let me introduce Darlene. Darlene, you are the president of People for a New America. How did you get involved into all this, and when did you start being involved into it?
So in 2020, I was on a Zoom call with a group of people, and I heard Richie talking about his vision for what this is. All of us were kind of locked up at that time, trying to figure out what's going on in the world, and just to hear the passion and conviction that he had about bringing all the people together, all the races, cultures, and religions, to have, people were feeling very divided, and that's by design, not by who we naturally are.
Let's connect the show now.
It was a pivotal moment for me to actually see that, and then I just knew that I was all in. And, there's no shortage of reasons for people to argue. And he had a vision to make that not happen. Can you not hear me? Here we go again. We can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know it's not us.
Boy, the enemy at work. We're up to something great. That's what I know. If that's what's happening.
Maybe I should get my guitar and start playing a little.
There you go. Serenade the crowd.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means anybody can hear us or not.
Well, keep talking, Darlene.
So yeah, the whole idea of bringing people together. So instead of fighting over race, instead of fighting over religion, instead of fighting over medical things that were happening, instead of finding reasons to make us all different, why not focus on the things that make us the same? How about just that we're human beings that want to save this nation? And so I decided to jump in with both feet. And so I've been participating for all these years, and then recently became the president of PFANA because I feel so strongly about that, and especially with the Veterans Initiative that they're working on. I come from a veteran family. I was a former military wife. I have veteran children, and it's just something that is very close and near and dear to my heart. Oh, my man, we can't hear you.
You can hear me now? Now I can.
Yeah.
You said you had veterans?
I can't hear you.
Oh, hello?
There you are. There you are.
You said you had family of veterans? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so I come from a long line of veterans in the family. My brother was an Army Ranger. My son was in the Special Forces program up at Fort Bragg. My daughter was in the Air Force. I was a former military wife. There's just a whole lot of that in the family. And I feel a very strong calling for that. I loved the military life when I was in it.
Not everybody can actually withstand that, the military life, right? It's so eclectic, and it's just all over the place.
Yeah, lots of moving, but I liked that part. So,
who didn't like moving? I hated moving, but I loved being where I was, Right. So that was good. So, what is the one thing that still drives you to be helpful? You said that you love helping people. So, is that still one of the biggest motivators for you?
Is that me or Richie?
Yeah, for you, Darlene. Sorry.
Well, my background is I have a holistic practice where I work with people, helping them learn how to take charge of their own issues, right? Reversing disease without medicine has been my focus for about 40 years. And then recently, though, especially tied into this mission that we have with the veterans, I work a lot with PTSD. I work a lot with people trying to reintegrate into society, people suffering from chronic discomfort, people who are really trying to get to the bottom of their health issues that may have been caused by something they were exposed to. And so I don't turn anyone away. And somebody asked me one time if I was a nonprofit, and I said, well, not on purpose, but, I just don't turn anybody away. And a lot of times the veterans are in a state where they just have nowhere else to go. And I help them. And so that's really, I was already on that path. Right. And already have years under my belt, kind of like Richie was being prepared for this moment with his rock star status and his following and all the things that he has going on. I've been kind of prepared for this moment through the helping and the and approaching life in a off the books kind of way, part of the health underground, if you call it that.
So that's so awesome. I love the fact that you guys are not only helping like your local communities and stuff like that, but that you have a heart for everybody as far as the veterans is concerned. Because I've always felt that veterans have always been a underrepresented community. And people don't really realize just the struggles that we go through daily. With pain and like you said, mental health and things like that. We don't really ever talk to others other than our other veterans that we relate with, because we feel that there's not that we're disconnected from people, but it's because sometimes we feel like they don't relate real well, and they don't understand the struggles that we go through. And I'm not saying that people may not, but I'm just saying that that's how we feel, because we've been in a common situation, or we've been deployed so many times, and we have this sick sense of humor. And people don't understand, like, how you guys were so mean. I'm like, this is just what we do. We just talk smack about one another, and it's not a big deal. It's fine.
And the VA is helpful in a lot of ways, but in the medical side, not everything needs a pill. Sometimes
you're
you
right.
need somebody to love you, or to help you, or be willing to step out there with you to find answers.
You're right. And there's actually several initiatives right now. I don't know if you're aware, but there's several initiatives here in Texas alone, where a good friend of mine, the senior vice commander for the Department of Texas, the VFW, he was actually up in the state capitol giving a speech about how holistic treatments actually helped him, because he was going to the VA, he was getting the same thing every other veteran gets, the prescription cocktail, as they call it, right? He was getting all that stuff. He's like, no, look, and he told me, I've had him on the show before, and he says, like, look, he says, I've been using CBD for quite some time now. It's completely different. It's great. So he actually testified in front of the state Congress, and gave his testimony about what happened. And so one of those things, it was just one of those, he was actually great about it. The fact that he's able to open up his own experience and do things like that. So
yeah, it's fabulous. And especially when the main drugs they prescribe, the side effects are homicidal and suicidal tendencies. We should rethink that approach, I think. So
yeah, we definitely can. So Richie, let me ask you this. So I know you got your guitar, and I'm going to ask you to play a little bit of something a little bit in a few minutes. But for you, have you had, or do you have any family currently in the military?
My father was in World War II.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he in Europe, or was he in the Pacific? Do you remember?
No, he stayed in the U.S. and because he had bad eyesight, he became a nurse in Atlanta, and where he had to do the operations, and for the vets, and he had a lot of stories. He was Jesse's backstage now. Can you see him?
I should. Yeah, I can. Let me go ahead and introduce him, and we'll bring him in. So here we go.
Yeah, but I'll finish off on that. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Hey Jesse, give me just 1 minute. I know you just jumped in. I saw you before, but I wanted to kind of keep the flow of the interview. But I'm going to introduce you in just a minute. I have Richie telling us a story about his father being in World War II and how he was a nurse back in Atlanta. So Richie, go ahead and let us know how did you get involved in it? Obviously, you have a heart for the veterans because of your dad.
Well, no, I just am empathetic towards all people, and I look at the veterans as you see it on the streets. You see the homeless veterans. I mean, come on, I'm patriotic. I love America.
Right.
We know what we have here and what so many of the brave fought for our freedom, and that's been slipping away. And to see that is coming back into focus now. And so I didn't necessarily need to serve to know what this is and what is important for America. To people that believe in a mission so much to lay their lives down if need be. So I'm blessed to be able to have a platform where we can help folks that deserve to be helped.
And it's just so awesome, like people that just love this country for what it is and how it is, and and I say it often to everyone that comes on this show. The last time we really saw the entire nation come together, and in that sense of patriotism that was just oozing out of our veins, was the day after 9/11. That was the last time I really saw, the entire country just be united about, with one thing. Unfortunately, it was a tragic day. However, that patriotism will just, for the few months after that came, was just not seen again. Not since World War II, and not since 9/11 now. And you're right. It's for lack of a better term, is a dying art. We don't, a lot of us is just like kind of entitled, and we're like, we just expect to be this. But no, you have to give something to yourself, and you have to be proud of this country. You have to be proud of who you are, where you come from, and everything. So it's great that people like yourselves are in that, in educating people that we should be proud to be Americans. We should be proud to help one another. We should be proud of this country. And then we are the voice of the people. We together, we make a bigger voice than just one person in power or one person in an office, and we can make policy changes, and we can make all kinds of things help. And with you guys' organization, I'm sure that you guys are touching the grassroots. This is exactly what we need to do. Grassroots all over the place.
Well, I will add this, is that connecting the right people and the right groups. I mean, what got ADA passed, Americans with Disability Act, is a lot of like-minded people coming together, and it changed the world for the disabled community.
Correct.
If anybody's been neglected, as a friend of mine would say, with the disabled, we couldn't even get on the bus. Okay. Yeah. And so they're the neglected ones too. You look at the disabled and you look at the vets. These are a major chunk of our society. So speaking of which, you guys were discussing, and I'll just throw this in before you bring Jesse in, is that John Spagnola, I don't know if you know him. He's a major fighter for the veterans. He's the one that got informed consent. He went and created a bill about the drugs, because so many of these drugs are creating suicides. And yes. So if a serviceman sees all these various 40 drugs they're dished out, it says suicide, you kind of get the inkling that these things are, maybe one or two might be acceptable, but not like 40 drugs. Right. So just the work that we're doing now, connecting the dots, doesn't matter if we're veterans or not. It's about how we're putting and helping these folks.
Right. So I'm going to bring Jesse in, and I know Jesse is he just joined us a few minutes ago, and his mic is muted. And here we go. But Jesse is the co-creator and co-founder of Veterans First Initiative, and also the planning strategist for your organization, People for a New America. Jesse, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you, Caesar. Thank you for having us, and it's a blessing to be here.
Hey, I'm a little jealous of all three of you guys, because I know you guys are in Southern California. You guys are enjoying sunny and 75, just about 365 days of the year. So I'm a little jealous, but yeah, we'll leave that for another discussion. But Jesse, I want to ask you, how did you get involved with Richie and Darlene?
Okay, so what happened was I was invited to a meeting through one of my business partners named Sidney Colston. And so I was listening to everyone talk about this event that they were planning.
Can hear you.
And so
I think you're blocking your mic with your hand.
Okay. And so what I've learned in going into meetings is sometimes it pays to listen first before you take action or respond to anything. Mm-hmm. So I attended a couple meetings. And so in these meetings, there were two things that I wasn't hearing. And that was a location and a date for the event. And so what I did is I took the initiative to identify location and identify a date. And once that was done, then the wheels got in motion. Mm-hmm. And from that, we ended up doing the music festival. And this was something that Richie had been, it was his dream for about 35 years. And so in conversations with Richie, I was telling him about, God's timing. And sometimes, God brings the right people, at the right time for the right purpose. And so in that, Richie began to see from his faithfulness how God had opened up the door for this event to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that event, we began to encounter certain people. Like, for example, Ron Alexenberg, who is a notable individual in the music business on the levels of like a Clive Davis, who has worked with top level A-listers such as Barbra Streisand, Michael Jackson, Billy Joel, and people of that caliber.
Mm-hmm.
So in a conversation that we had, Ron asked if he could utilize this platform to be able to do something for veterans and homelessness. And he also had someone else he was working with who was the former lead singer for REO Speedwagon. And so that was something that he had interest as well. And so taking on that, I had shared with Richie, well, we need our own.
Mm-hmm.
And so in 2014, I had a writing partner who was a veteran. And so I would hear all these stories about veterans and the difficulties and the challenges that veterans were going through. So I asked her, I said, tell me about these various challenges that veterans are going through. And so her and I got together and we put together what is known as the Veterans First Initiative. So the mission of the Veterans First Initiative is to help veterans who protect us and the American dream achieve the American dream. And so that's how that came about.
That's such an awesome story about how just people just from conversations we were like, you know what, we should do these. We should definitely get something together. And it just amazes me and how just from people talking these ideas just grow. And you guys have the connections to just make it happen, which is awesome. And I just hope that you guys will bring it to Texas, because this is where I'm at. And I know I have a lot of people here that we get a ton of people to come and see one of these festivals. And I know, Richie, I know you've been talking to Tom, and Tom has been saying that he's like, I want to get a festival together. I'm going to get a bunch of people together. I was like, Tom, let's get it together. Let's plan it, in the stages, and we'll get it together. And because who doesn't love music? I know that a lot of us veterans have just people in general just love music altogether. So having these organizations be able to come together and make something like that, it's awesome. So you guys had I saw on your website that you guys had the festival in October. Is that correct?
October 26th.
And how many people did you guys actually bring together on that during that festival?
Well, I'll tell you, it was the day. It's kind of told with what you're wearing right now. LA Dodgers versus the Yankees. Okay. Not the best day in LA to have a concert. Who would ever predict? Now, as Jesse mapped out that date, as he said, he didn't have the perception that would be the World Series with the Yankees. But it went great, and we had enough people to really enjoy it. But
was it that day that they were in New York? Did they actually won it? I don't remember the day.
They were playing in town.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the only reason why I wore the shirt today is.
But the good news is we videotaped the whole show, and we had stellar performances with so many incredible acts, a lot of multi-platinum groups, which you're going to be hearing more about the video. And with our telethon we're going to be doing, we're going to be showing this footage. And there's
awesome.
more to come with the whole day, because we call it the birth of a movement. Okay. And this isn't just about, it's about the whole enchilada. Okay. It's about mankind and helping the vets and helping all that. But with the, I'll let you guys continue with Jesse, because he knows the nuts and bolts about the Veterans First Initiative as we support this, and it's part of FANA as we're doing this. But I'll let you take it over, Caesar. Away with the show.
I wanted to tell you guys the reason why I'm wearing the shirt is because my boss is a Chicago native or Illinois native, and he's a Cubs fan, and so and I told him, I said, hey, let's get on a flight, let's go to Chicago or Tokyo to go see the games. He's like, we got to work. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. But that's the reason why. And I wore it today. He's like, you just had to, didn't you? I was like, yeah, I was watching the game at 5 a.m, my time. And I'm like, I was watching it till like 7:30 or 8. That's when it ended. And I just looked at him. I just peeked over his office like this. I gave him one of those nods. He's like, just get away. I was like, it was 4-1, just if you wanted to know. So, but that was a small story. But pardon me, Jesse. So, you just have a heart for all this, right? And it doesn't have to be veterans. And I keep saying veterans because my show is veteran centric, right? It just always has been. It was started by a disgruntled veteran, me, and the show really started as a local for my VFW post, so I can put out information about, hey, we're doing this weekend, we're doing this. So it just kind of started all this. But I think in the midst of what I was doing, it grew into, I was like, you know what? There is a lot more resources that I can actually give or put out, because these resources are a lot of us don't even know about. And some of these resources, like your organization, I would have never known unless you start talking to people, because you don't really get a lot of the big stories. So my question to you, Jesse, is how important is it to have a grassroots campaign in order for you guys to grow your organization and to get people to get excited about just being helpful toward others and just being proud of like Richie said, of being proud of being an American? How do you keep that motivation going, and how do you fit into all this?
Okay, well, I have been in a leadership capacity for over 30 plus years at West Andrews Church of God in Christ under Bishop Emeritus Charles E. Blake Sr. And so under his leadership, I saw how one man had, went into a country called Save Africa's Children with a program that had helped millions of kids with HIV.
Wow.
And so you take an ordinary man doing extraordinary things. And so God is no respecter person. And so when the part of ministry is helping God's people. And so I've always had a heart for helping people since I was a kid. And so when I began to work under Bishop Blake, when the Veterans First Initiative was done, I had been trying to find somebody to take that on. And so in that time period, which is over 10 years, there was nobody that would take that on, because God was saying, I want you to take that on. Okay, I want you to do this because you're going to know what to do with it. And so from that and my background, I worked in the corporate world for Frito-Lay Incorporated and also the Los Angeles Times. And event planning. And so taking a corporate background and looking at what I know, I decided to, okay, I know what to do. I know the steps I need to take. And so now it's about, as Nike would say, just do it. And so from having faith and just going forward, God has aligned all the right pieces.
Right.
And I know that he's going to add more and more and more and more. And when I had, brought this to Richie's attention, I was telling him that even though there's a lot of organizations doing things to help veterans, they might not all be effective. They might need some assistance. And
Right.
so the Veterans First Initiative is going to serve as, I use the term one-stop shopping, being able to connect various organizations and allow veterans to be able to get the type of help that they need. And so I spent a lot of time talking with veterans and have them tell me what veterans need.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important to know what the needs of the veterans. And so as a civilian, okay, yes, I know a lot of things, but I have to put what I know aside and go to the source.
Right.
And tell me what are the areas that veterans need help, and then go back and revisit what I know and then put it all into works. And so for me, this is a ministry. This is the ministry that I've been given.
Right.
And so, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And
I heard, it's awesome.
As like Phil Collins had this song, one of the lyrics was I'm in too deep.
Right.
See, I'm in too deep now.
I think we're all in too deep, and I'm glad I'm wearing my boots today because I am in Texas. So, but this is so awesome, and I honestly do hope that you guys are planning on doing another one of these festivals, and I'm going to put this out there that I know that our station, Voice of the People, USA Radio and TV Network, would be chomping on the bit to actually be part of that festival, because I think your organization really aligns with our vision as far as helping not just veterans. Again, it's not just for veterans. It's about Voice of the People USA is about freedom of speech, not being censored about different things. That's really how it started. So being a grassroots campaign type of a station where we can actually just have a free conversation, and agree to disagree, because I think our society has lost that sense of agreeing to disagreeing with somebody tells you otherwise, or like, no, I don't agree with you at all, like and nobody agrees to nothing, and there's no respect, there's no mutual respect there. And that's how we started this station. And we would love to be part of that festival when you guys do get it together, because I think your views and your mission aligns. And the fact that some of us, some of the hosts here in the Voice of the People, and also Patriot Radio is we are, a lot of us are veterans. And I have found, and we were talking about different ways of dealing with trauma, PTSD, and chronic pain and stuff. For me, and Richie, maybe you can attest to this a little bit, has been music, but also has been me being behind this mic, where I've always had the gift of gab, but I also have had the gift of, hey, Caesar, shut your mouth, even though my wife tells me otherwise. But I'm able to kind of bring things together a little bit, and I'm like Jesse said, God told me that I needed to really give other people the resources that none of us may have not known about. Because I would, like I said, I would have never known about your organization If it wasn't for Tom, I would have never known about, what you were doing, even though we're, several feet away, I would have never known. And for us to be able to put it out in the out in the open for a lot of people to know about this, having a platform like this is I'm driven to being able to actually disperse it to a lot of people. And that's what I love about my job. My job is I volunteer for this. I don't get paid for any of this. This is just what I do, just like you guys are just volunteering your time. And it's not about an individual, or it's not about self-gratification. It's really about getting a lot of things done, right? In a lot of different ways, and being able to give back. This is my way of giving back to a lot of other people. And for Richie, for your music, for giving back, and Jesse for your leadership, and Darlene for your great I was gonna say for your great drugs, but that's not the way. Right? No, but each one of you brings something to the table that it's just we become a collective, and we just become. That's what America is. The land of opportunity, the land of the great and the free, and people forget that. And like Richie said, we need to be proud to be Americans, proud to be in this country, because not everybody has the same freedoms that we do. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong.
I would say I would like to add that when we did the music festival, people were scratching their head because we didn't charge any money. Yeah, it was not free to produce, but we didn't charge anybody anything to come. And they would scratch their head and say, what's your real agenda? Well, we want people to love each other. We want to bring together everyone and show what makes us the same and not what makes us different. And they just kept saying, really? I mean, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And so I personally would love to see a concert come to Texas. I'm from Texas, and I'm not with these guys in sunny California. I'm in Atlanta, where we're freezing our behinds off at night. So, but I'm from Texas. I got a lot of people in Texas. My veteran brothers in Texas. I've got cousins that are veterans. They're all in Texas. And so I vote for Texas to do that. Of course, I'd love to bring something here to Atlanta as well. But yeah, we're all working on it.
Yeah. I'm in Texoma, if you know.
Yeah, I'd like to add also is that before the concert that we have, when that happens, which probably will be the fall, June 7th is a slated time for the telethon.
Oh, okay.
For the Veterans First Initiative. Okay.
I'll write that down.
So what that does for everybody is to join up right there and see footage from the show that we had. Plus, we're having it's nationally. There's Canadian partners, Jay Stoyan with the Disability Channel, and then we have Illinois right now. Different people. It's going to be an 8-hour telethon.
Oh wow!
It's about raising money, and Jesse will go further into it about gift cards, what we have, but he'll go deeper into it. But to get back to your contribution and what we're all doing here with everybody's skill sets, why do you think we call it People for a New America? I mean, you've got the government, but it's we the people, us the people, that need to come together with a grassroots movement. And that's what we're doing here, and bringing all like-minded organizations to join up with us. Just like I said, with Americans with Disability, that's what changed that. So we have a lot of different committees that are forming. So we're on it, and we're out to create that new society. So where we build a strong foundation for the future, so we can have unity, peace, freedom, prosperity. And 80% of the people out there are good people. 20% are just the corrupt and the greedy. We leave them people alone. We're not into those people. We're into focusing on people that want to have a nice heaven on earth. And we can create it. But those who divide and conquer us, okay, they want it the other way. And they're the ones that always throw every good plan that God has laid out for us to turn a beautiful world that we live in into a hell instead of heaven.
Yes.
So because of what you're doing, Caesar, with new media, see, you're a part of this. When God came down to me in 1989, because he saw something in me, which now is becoming evident, it's new media,
Yeah.
new technology, all these aspects. That's how we do it. So isn't it funny how the podcasts are so important in today's society for free, open communication?
Yes.
The part you play, Caesar, the part that Jesse plays, the part that Darlene and everybody out there in TV land and radio land, we all need to come together as this movement and start really building the good people of Earth together, so we'll never be shaken again. We can't depend, because every 4 years or 8 years, they slant this, they slant that, we're knocked off our trolley. We can't afford that anymore. It's the message of music, along with all our skill sets, which is going to create a society that we can have for our future generations and for our kids
Yes.
to be able to flourish and prosper.
That is so well put, because again, we're going back to that whole grassroots. I keep saying it, people don't realize what it means, and that's important. That's what we need to come together as a whole, as a collective. And it doesn't matter about race, it doesn't matter about religion, it doesn't matter. We're all one, and if we want to, like you said, we want to prosper, this is the way we got to do it. But we have to come together and be able to actually become one voice, where we are the majority of the voice, and that's how it needs to be. But Jesse, so Richie was saying that you have a lot more information about this festival the telethon on June 6th, correct?
Yes. So the goal of the telethon is raise money for a gift card, and so one of the areas in the 1 to 3 year plan is to develop a gift card that will help veterans dealing with food insecurity and be able to buy clothing. And so what we're doing is identifying nationwide companies or companies that are interested in helping to support this gift card. Stores such as Walmart, Target, Amazon, Kroger, Albertsons Company, and also other companies within the state, to be able to create these gift cards that veterans are able to take these gift cards and be able to buy food. And so this is something that's going to be ongoing, because I can see this as an ongoing need to be able to to help veterans. And so this will be a 8-hour telethon that will take place in Toronto, Illinois, in Atlanta, and also Los Angeles. And so we will have various hosts in those different cities. We'll bring on veterans, veteran programs, different projects that they're working on, all in support of veterans for that particular day. We will also be featuring the music festival that was done, looking to have some of the artists that participated on that day and conduct some interviews with them. But just want to let people know, what we're doing, and also to create something that will become an annual event, just like what Jerry Lewis used to do for muscular dystrophy.
Yes.
This is something that we would do annually for veterans. And
awesome.
and so one of the things that we will do is we will encourage donations from all across the United States, and would identify those donors in those particular states and cities, and we will put that money back toward veterans organizations in those cities and states. And so that way, the people who are donating money, that money goes right back into a veterans program in the city or state that they live in. And so that's a fair way to do it. So people can't say we're impartial, or why you're not donating to this one, and why you're not donating to that one. Well, we feel that if we ask people across the United States to donate in the city or state that they represent, then we will make sure that that money goes right back to a veterans organization in that city and state. And so
I have added the
gift card.
I have added the website there for the donation. It is givebutter.com/vets in need. That is the website for you guys to donate. If you guys are willing to donate, that is where you need to go to donate to this great cause. And sorry about that, Jesse. I just want to make sure that I put it out, because we have a lot of radio listeners that don't actually get to see it, so they don't get to see the ticks on the bottom. So I want to make sure that they understand that.
Sure, and thank you for doing that. And because we want to be able to help veterans, give them the respect that they deserve, give them the opportunity to live the American dream, but also equip them as well, so they are prepared to transition into society. They're confident, they are given the skills. And in a conversation that I had with someone earlier today, I was explaining to him that we want to put things together from a basic standpoint, just like a person in kindergarten. Start out knowing that, then you educate for the greater purpose. So you don't assume anything, but you want to make sure that the veterans have everything that they need, so they have the confidence to be able to go after what it is that they're trying to go after.
Well, I think having an organization that actually does care about veterans is huge. Like I said, my show is very, 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 very veteran centric, and it's not just about veterans. Again, we need to be more service connected or service oriented for us to actually help anybody out, because there's a lot of people out there in need, right? But it shouldn't just stop at the veterans. And I can speak for that because I'm both, right? I that's what we need. I'm a part of a lot of different organizations. One of them being, and I'll just share something with you guys. One of them being a health clinic here in the local area. It's called Texoma Health Clinic. What this organization does is that what they do is they help a lot of people that don't have insurance and or are underinsured, and they will offer primary care physicians. They will offer like basically a full it's a full doctor's office. So whatever they need, they will actually provide for that. And it's such a great organization because they also live based on donations. But the reason why I loved getting involved is because not everybody is as privileged as some of us are, that we're blessed to actually have health insurance, have a full-time job, or have all this stuff. And having something like that for somebody to rely on, they're like, hey, I'm feeling sick, or I have this pain, I've had this pain for the last 3 weeks or 3 months, and I don't have anywhere to go. This health clinic actually opens. And again, that's just about helping one another, helping your fellow person, your fellow community. And it's such a great I don't know, just satisfaction, I don't want to say self-gratification, but just it's such a great accomplishment as far as like feeling good about helping other people. It's not just about you, because you get, as far as me, like I'm always good, I get whatever I want. I can go up to the store right now and get, hey, I'm gonna get a coffee, and just do that. But helping others, I think that people seem to forget that quite a bit. So thank you guys for doing that. With that,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, I think that's why we're on this earth. We're really, if we're not here to serve others, really, why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
We need to all make a difference in some way. Some people can make it in a large way, some in a small way, but it can never just be just about us. Then what is that for?
Yeah. Yep. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is right now it's about 9:00 Central Time. It's about 10:00 Eastern, and about 7:00 Pacific Time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our quick break. I'm going to play you guys a great video. This is about a 96-year-old veteran, veteran of 3 wars, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And this man is part of my post here in Sherman, Texas. This man still lives by himself, still up and active. This guy is still running around, and you would never know unless this story that you're going to hear is incredible. And I want you guys to I'm going to quiz you guys in a little bit about this, but you're listening to the Battle Rhythm podcast here on the Voice of the People USA Radio and TV show network, and also on Patriot Radio and on digital Busey digital media here in Texoma. So when we come back, we're going to keep talking to Jesse, Richie, and Darlene in regards to their this show that they're putting together. It's going to be awesome. And like I said, if you guys are going to be around the Illinois area, Atlanta and LA, I'm going to make myself to one of those. I'm going to drive myself to one of these places because I definitely want to see the show. It's going to be super fun. But when we come back, we're going to keep talking to these guys in regards to what they're going to do and what their plans are for the near future. And we're going to keep talking for another hour. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes.
As he approaches his 96th birthday, Jim Hahn still remembers intimate details about his time serving as a Marine in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. And he also remembers how it all started.
Mother wasn't going to sign. I told her, I said, if you don't sign this, I'll lie about my age. And she signed.
He was inspired to enlist when walking down the street at 16 years old. He tells K10 he saw some people messing with a Marine and his girlfriend.
They was doing anything they could try to make him mad. He told his girlfriend there to go down and wait for him at the red light at the end of the street there. He turned around and whipped all 4 of those guys.
A year later, he was off to San Diego for basic training. Han joined the occupation force in both China and Japan during World War II, which marks the only time in the history of Japan that it has been occupied by a foreign power. A bitter time these days, though. Gunnery Sergeant Han holds tight to the sweeter moments.
It's going into Japan, there, into town. I seen all these little kids running around there, and they looked like they was hungry and everything else. So I started in getting candy from our PX and taking it in there and giving it to the little kids. It got to where whenever I'd come inside the city limits, man, here come all these kids.
What he didn't realize at the time, candy would one day become his lifeline. In November of 1950, just a few months after the Korean War began, 8,000 fighters, mostly Marines, were trapped in the Chonjin Reservoir, surrounded by 120,000 Chinese soldiers. And you guessed it, Sergeant Han was one of those Marines.
If somebody told me this, I'd have thought of him as being a liar, because I did not think that it would get 90 degrees below zero. I seen guys just walking along, and all of a sudden I could stop walking, and they just did. They'd freeze to death while they was walking.
Freezing, barely hanging on to life. The Marines called for ammunition using their code word, Tootsie Roll.
I never will forget that. They got on the radio there and talking to them, said, send us some Tootsie Rolls. And they was talking about ammunition, a certain type of ammunition.
Well, the soldier on the other end of that radio took the message literally, and they dropped into the reservoir Tootsie Rolls.
Here's this 3 planes there coming out with these parachutes coming down there with Tootsie Rolls. It's supposed to be the ammunition, but it's Tootsie Rolls. But if it hadn't been for them, a lot of us, including me, would probably starve to death.
Those little chocolate candies were the fuel that sustained the troops. All other provisions were frozen, so they survived on the chocolate.
It seemed impossible that they was there for any other reason than to save my life. I thank God many times for the fact that I lived through all of it, didn't lose any arms or legs or anything out of the way. I sat in this foxhole, people all around me freezing, and some reason or other I didn't.
He says all he thought about was his next breath and how he would use it.
I don't know, I still think about it sometimes. I know that God saved me from it. Try to thank God 3 or 4 or 5 times a day about that.
Decades later, Sergeant Hahn literally holds on to that memory with a bucket of Tootsie Rolls made specifically for him with American flags after the company heard his story. Those Marines that made it out are now revered as the heroes of the Frozen Chosen. But this one calls Texoma home, and he chooses to spend his time right here in the Sherman VFW.
I feel like they're brothers. This, to me, is part of the military.
As this veteran reflects on a life of service most would never know, Hahn would do every second of it again. The few, the proud, the Marines.
It was such an honor to be able to sit down with Jim, and I just want to say right here on the record, thank you for your service. Not only a World War II veteran, a 3-war veteran. He decided to just keep going back. I know.
And you know, I had heard that, I knew that there was something involving Tootsie Rolls, but that was the first time I actually heard that full story, and that is so incredible.
And he's just walking around Texoma.
Oh, how cool.
Amazing, I know it.
All right, we're back. People, we're back. This is the Battle Rhythm Podcast. You're listening to us on Voice of the People, USA TV Radio Network, also on Patriot Radio, and also on Busey Digital Media. So, what did you guys think about this? Incredible story, right?
What an incredible man. A great story. The Frozen Chosen. I mean, kind of like our solution revolution, right?
He's actually part of the chosen few. See, not a lot of people know that other term because it's the Frozen Chosen is the entirety, right? Whoever was there. But the ones that came out alive were the chosen few. And they, a couple years ago, they had a get together of the ones that remaining, and he was the oldest one there. And it was just crazy that there's still some around. And you know, World War II. I mean, I remember in the 90s, I was delivering paper. Back in the day, we delivered paper. You know, as a paper boy, for the Press Enterprise in Riverside, California. And I lived in Hemet. I grew up in Hemet, California. So I remember going there, and it was December 7th of 1991, which was 50 years after the Pearl Harbor. And my dad, he used to have a landscaping business. And we had a person that actually, a customer that he would go to that was actually a Pearl Harbor survivor. And he would tell me these stories. And, when he found out that I was going to go to the military, he's like, well, this is what you got to do. He told me that, don't talk back, don't do this, just do this. But I remember just thinking, my gosh, 50 years of Pearl Harbor, and knowing that so many people perished during that time. But it was just incredible just to think. And now I'm almost 50 years old. This is all this is almost 40 plus years ago that this happened. And as far as the when I was delivering paper, but it was that I remember that whole paper, or the whole first front page was all about Pearl Harbor, and it had obviously the USS Arizona, being in flames and everything. So it was just, I don't know, just impeccable, I guess you could say. One of the greatest memories I remember having, and packing the papers, putting them in the bags at 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, it was awesome. So, but anyway, yeah. So, short story, they do have those Tootsie Rolls. Every time I see him or he sees my daughter, without fail, he uses about 2 or 3 handfuls of them. And I'm like, Mr. Hahn, I'm a diabetic. I can't have it anymore. And he's like, Mr. Hahn, it's gonna chip her teeth or whatever. And it's just like it'd be like we have enough. I think we have a whole bag at the house. So, but it's incredible. It's a great story. He's a great man, and he still remembers all of that. To think about 90 degrees below zero. It's crazy. So, but this is why you guys do it. You guys do this for for people like that, because they definitely do need a lot of help. So thank you guys for being having this organization, for and it being veterans. That you guys are very friendly with the veterans. It's just awesome. It's just I love it, and so thank you for that.
I think the timing is important on this, because we all had the download many years ago that we were going to serve together in some way. The fact that the three of us came together in this mission to help the veterans couldn't have happened before the internet. It couldn't have happened any other way. There's no way we would have met each other any other way. So
do you think COVID had a big part of media being like this, like podcasts and just things that
I do. It opened up people to possibilities in the media that they would have never considered any other way. I think it helped in a lot of ways.
That's that's one of the things that I always people always tell me, that they're like, no, because for a long time people were working from home because of COVID. See, when COVID happened and it hit in 2020, I was actually deployed. I was in Syria when all this happened, and I didn't really get the gist of it. It was only several hundred of us there where I was at, and it wasn't bad. Obviously there was some type of social distancing or whatever, but I didn't really feel the how it separated and how it ended up having everybody I don't know, just disassociate one another. You know what I mean? I never got that full experience. So, but people say like, "Oh, COVID was bad." I was like, I don't know. I've always been able to work from home, so it was just different. So
yeah, I'm blessed to work from home. I've worked from home for a long, long time, and but I still impacted the community that I serve. Right. So I just think people being able to voice their opinion without the internet, without when the message is out there, God makes a way where there is no way, and the right people that are vibrating to the same mission, they come together, and there's no stopping that. So if the internet had to be invented for that to happen, then so be it. So, it served a good purpose.
Yeah. So Richie, how when did you start playing all these different instruments? I know you say you singer songwriter, but how long did it take you? Are you self-taught? Are you classically trained? Because I was self-taught when I taught myself how to play drums. Like I said, I was a great air drummer. So how did you start? Oh wait, muted. You're muted.
Kind of similar. I had a mother that was she danced with Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney.
Oh wow!
And when she saw I was talented, she became a stage mom, and I started off in dance. And then I was at a family get together. I went up an attic and I saw this red metal flake snare drum, and it was just like, oh,
right. That's exactly how it was for me too.
It was like the holy grail.
Yeah.
Like, oh, blah, blah. So then I went home, and I was about 10, and I'm Italian descent, so we're all about music and fun. Mm-hmm. And my father was almost like a musicologist too. So I just started beating on pots and pans. My brother played guitar with the surf music, and he had this guy, Ruben Campos, started a band in LA here called the Nomads 5. Uh-huh. And they went and recorded in the studio in Hollywood. And I was just taken by the whole thing. And then, of course, seeing on Ed Sullivan, the Beatles.
Wow.
And when I heard all the girls screaming, that was it for me. I mean, I was like, okay. Just to be honest, okay.
But to be like this,
So-
who are you? Which one are you in the band? I'm the drummer. Oh, okay. They don't drummers never get any recognition other than like, oh, dude, you keep the great beat. I'm speaking from experience.
Now, if I don't get attention, Caesar, I throw drumsticks.
I did that once and I hit somebody in the head and I was like, never again. I played when I was in San Diego State, because I went to San Diego State. I got in a band in Spanish rock band, and we got booked at the House of Blues there in San Diego, downtown San Diego. And I remember we finished our set, we opened up for another band, and I took my sticks and I just launched them. And my friend was like, "Hey, you hit somebody in the head." I was like, "Hey, yeah, no, I think it hit her right in the forehead." I was like, they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna be able." Look, man, it's collateral damage. I mean, what are we gonna do? There's nothing you can do about that. It's you come to the show, you might get a stick, you might get a stick in the head. I don't know.
At Sweet concerts, I quit throwing it because my business manager says no more throwing sticks out there. She made it clear we don't have insurance that covers that. But really, my first break was with a very a guy he was a Mexican American from Detroit who had a #1 hit in 1966 called 96 Tears, ? In the Mysterians. And
I remember that song 96 Years. Yeah.
It said that was really the beginning of punk rock, and with ? So I was with him for a little bit when I was like 16, 17.
Uh-huh.
But he made that first song they made on a 4-track at his cousin's house, and it became the #1 song of 1966. It beat the Beatles. It's a blow mine, yeah. But anyways, I joined him in 74, his band. So
man, that's just awesome to just hear the history of music just by one person, and then seeing your trajectory of how your career has gone. And I'm sure you have worked with so many other people and so many such great talents. Who has, and I'm not talking to you as an artist, I'm talking to you as a fan. Who has been one of your biggest influencers or influences as far as music? You tend to gravitate to, or you just love their lyrics and stuff like that. Who has been one of your greatest that you're a big fan of?
Well, there was a couple growing up, and it was Jimi Hendrix and Cream. They had a lot to do with me, and they had a drummer. I play, my guitar playing is very like Hendrix. Like I play many styles, but Hendrix having that blues and being trained on drums, having the lessons. You were asking about that. I went to some very good teachers with that. I'm still considered, I was more like a street drummer. I can play anything pretty much from jazz. I started off in all genres, but what really talked to me was Jimi Hendrix, and the most, because he had this ability to write those lyrics and these phrases in a very ethereal way that just touched my heart, and I just knew. So when I actually saw Hendrix, I had a personal connection with him at a big concert. He gave me the peace sign, so I was anointed.
Yeah, there you go. Did you know that actually Hendrix was in the army?
I do, of course.
Yeah. So he's a veteran. Like not many people know that he was actually in the service. So was Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson. There's so many artists are out there that have served. Celebrities that have served, and people don't really realize that. And it's I don't know if it's sad, or I don't know if they don't want to put it out there that they have served. But hey, like we've been saying all day, like be proud of being American, be proud of who you serve, be proud of everything, because this is part of you. You're part of American history. Not only on the military side, but also on the influencing millions, because Hendrix had great songs, and one of my favorite songs was Little Wing, but the Stevie Ray Vaughan version. I don't know why. I gravitate more towards that one than I do with the Hendrix. I'm not saying that it's bad. Please don't take it wrong, but I think it was for me it was better. just like I always tell people that I love the song I'm Proud to Be an American by Lee Greenwood. But there's another song by Coffee Anderson called Mr. Red, White, and Blue that I seem to have a lot more connection to that one than I do with Lee Greenwood's, because he's talking about, a soldier coming home, sometimes missing an arm, missing a leg or whatnot, and being deployed for so many times. But with Lee Greenwood's is really you're proud to be an American because you live here, your family has died for it and everything. So I guess it's just like you said, how you relate to the music and how it connects with you, and that's probably what it is, right?
That's right.
I don't know if you feel the same way about that one, but I'll give you one more example about that. It's actually a better remake as far as music is concerned. Chris Stapleton had a great song with Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah.
The original was nowhere near as successful as the one that Chris Stapleton did, and it was just, to me, that's such a great blues song. It's just awesome. I just love that just simple guitar licks. That's like, oh my gosh, it's a great song. Sorry. I know I'm speaking to me as a fan. I'm like, I just Google and Gaga over that song. It's just the first time I heard it, I was just like, okay, I'm done for. I am done for it. That's just it. Because it's just the guitar solo alone. It's just so simple.
Oh yeah, it's not patriotic, but it's soulful, and that's what Stapleton's great about. I just heard a track on the blues station with Stapleton and Slash did "Oh Well" from Fleetwood Mac before Stevie Lindsay. It was freaking amazing. That Stapleton man is just like, yeah.
He had that. He had that the great performance of the American the national anthem in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
I know that's it, man. That guy's unbelievable.
Yeah. You say you have I know you have a song. I know you have your guitar pulled up. So please play me a song.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
I'm just a simple man. I have a simple point of view. Sometimes I feel so blue. All we want is some peace of mind. It's kind of hard to find this day. Sometimes I wish I was the man I Well, those people out there working way too hard just to feed the families. And the bakers rape the needy and claim it's the American way. Well, deeper in debt with each step, we're gonna grind us in the ground. Time to clean it up and turn it around. Calling American fighters. We're American fighters. In tradition with our fathers, we gotta make a stand today. American fighters. We're American fighters. Well, freedom doesn't give you the right to steal from the free.
Man, the great Richie Onori. The great Richie Onori, man. Oh my gosh. I'm just at this point, I'm just gonna tell you I'm starstruck on that one. Just awesome, man. Thank you so much for that. Like I told you, like when I first heard the very first time I heard Ballroom Blitz, it was 91 when Wayne's World came out. That was the very, very first time I heard it.
It's been getting so hard living with the things we do to me. My dreams are getting so strange. I'd like to tell you everything I see. I see a man in the back, or as a matter of fact, his eyes are as red as the sun. And the girl in the corner let no one ignore. She thinks she's the passionate one. Oh yeah! It was like lightning. It was like lightning. Everybody was frightening, and the music was soothing, and they all started grooving. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, dude. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Thanks,
That's
Richie. Appreciate
that's
that.
my country version that's going to be coming out real soon.
Oh man,
With
Who-
Janae Flanor on violin. She won the CMAs 4 years in a row.
oh wow,
Yeah, as the
that's
top
awesome.
musician in Nashville. She plays violin, and she's got a track with this song that's coming out. Man, it's something else. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm happy you like Ballroom Blitz because everybody loves it. You know.
Hey
Thank
man,
you.
if you're short a drummer, please let me play the song.
Let's hear you. Let's hear the groove, Caesar.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna have to practice for a bit. You know, I told you my air drumming has been kind of lackadaisical a little bit, a few months ago. So, nice. But no, who has been the one person that you really loved collaborating with as far as musically?
Well, I write all my own songs. I don't really collaborate except with Sweet. We have a new song that just came out. I just did interviews today on that. It's called Insane. Another song called Little Miracle. So you either write with a band, which was Sweet. We do write as a band sometimes.
Right.
But if I'm coming up with lyrics and everything, I like to write my lyrics. I like to I don't mind people having arrangement ideas with it. I have collaborated a little bit. One song I wrote that came out with Sweet a while ago was called System of the Slaves. And if we don't change our ways, we will become the system of the slaves.
Correct.
You know, Elon Musk says in 10 years, what's going to happen with robots is going to be amazing. So they're going to work for us or we're going to be work for them. And so with so much of what's going on with digital IDs and this and that, we have to protect our rights and never let go of the rights of our people and what we have to do with freedom. That's why my rock opera was called In the Name of Freedom. It's all about freedom. Yeah. And that's what you veterans protect. You protect our freedom. That's why we all need to come together in a loving way and protect our rights and freedoms and freedom of speech.
Yes. Darlene, I know you were sitting there with, listening to the same song that I was. I mean, you probably get to hear it all the time, don't you?
He has a lot of great songs that speak to the patriot's heart and what's happening in America, because I really feel like we're seeing a different type of revolution, right? It's a revolution of the spirit. And so the fact that he can help people get this message through music and not through fighting, and that he can bring people together in this way, it's really magical. And the fact that we're using it right now to help with these veterans initiatives. I mean, I don't know how people can turn a blind eye with a veteran in the street when they went over there and did their duty so that we can lay our head down at night and we don't have to worry about any of that. We don't have to worry about the wolf at our door. So the fact that he can use music to bring people in to think, well, maybe there is something I can do. Everybody can do something.
Exactly.
Everybody can.
So Richie, I'm just going to put this out there. Whenever you guys are getting ready to release that song, please consider my show and consider Voice of the People, where you guys can come in and let us play these songs for you, because we would love to be part of we love to be part of that revolution, just like you guys. And my show is, you guys are friends of my show. Anytime you guys want to come back and you're going to give us an update, let me know. I will gladly bring you over, and then hopefully one day we'll be able to actually meet in the same place at the same time. I have a studio that I normally go to here in Denison called Split Window Studios, in the podcast on Main. That's where I normally do my studio, but because I wanted to I wanted to keep that when I have live guests, and it's just awesome to have live guests, and it's just a different dynamic than it is with the virtual. It just is. So I hope that one day you guys will be able to come down. We'll be able to get in the same room, and we'll be able to do interview face to face, and we'll be able to jam out. And shoot, it's my show. I can do whatever I want.
Road trip, Richie.
Hey, do you guys play golf?
I do not.
I can play a little, but not too good now.
Okay, the fact of the matter is that here's my segue. That was a good segue, by the way. I'm actually hosting a golf tournament May 3rd for the VFW here in Sherman, and May 3rd is a Saturday, and we're actually going to have several people, and we're just trying to raise money because our building definitely needs some upgrades, and some being a building that's been around since the 60s is getting older and needs some maintenance and needs some care and some loving tender care, and so we're raising money for that. So May 3rd, I'll be hosting the tournament. Now, May 4th, 5th, 6th, May 6th, it's Tuesday, right after Cinco de Mayo. You guys are more than welcome to come, and you can do the show. We can do the show right there. So road trip.
Road trip.
You're about a 13-hour drive for me, I think. So
hey, it's nothing but a short 3-hour flight from Atlanta to Dallas. Right. Because DFW is literally in the smack center of everything. I'm 3 hours from anywhere. Just saying.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing and play the guitar. So I'll just tell you that.
There's always a solution for people like that. We always have a tambourine, or we have the maracas. Or the maracas. Right. Sometimes we have the Cuban box too, So it'll be good. I know Jesse's driving right now, so he'll be back when he's done, and hopefully he'll be at his destination so we can be safe. And he's probably listening to us right now. But man, I'm just excited. You guys want to play a game?
Yeah.
All right. So I have a segment called Rapid Fire Questions, and this segment is brought to us by EGA Construction here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So with that said, I'm going to explain to you guys the rules of the game right after this.
If you don't like standing on the sidelines but still want to make a difference, then tune in to the Battle Rhythm podcast. Picture this. Fighter jets roaring through the sky, field artillery radars scanning the horizon, and soldiers charging forward, grit and determination etched on their faces. We start in black and white, honoring the past, but then, boom, it's full color, reflecting the vibrant, resilient spirit of today's veterans. The Battle Rhythm podcast isn't just about military strategy or historical battles. It's a lifeline for veterans, a platform for voices often unheard. We dive deep into mental health, tackle suicide prevention, and build strong community ties. With guests from non-profits to military advocates, we're here to make a difference, together. Join us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Voice of the People USA Radio and TV network, and be part of something bigger. Because when the battle ends, the rhythm continues. Subscribe now and let's march forward, united.
All right, welcome back to the Battle Rhythm Podcast here on the Voice of the People, Patriot Radio, and also on Busey Digital Media from the DFW area and the Texoma area. So, Rapid Fire Questions is brought to us by EGA Construction, who is a very good friend of the shows, and they're always here. So, let me tell you something. This game is about quickness, wittiness, and also just honesty, really. So, the object of this game is when I ask you a question, you answer it as quick as you can with whatever comes to mind first.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not bad. I don't understand. Like, everybody gets all like, as soon as I explain the game, it was like everybody just, they go from a smile to like, we didn't sign up for this. I was like, no. Let me just explain. Let me ask you the first couple questions and then we'll go from there. Yeah. You guys are fine. You'll do.
It's fine. Like, who's smarter than a fifth grader? Is that?
No, I'm not that mean, because if I can't answer it, I won't ask it. Okay. So this is it. So Richie, I'm gonna start with Darlene because ladies first. So I'm gonna ask her, and Darlene, remember, clear your mind. Whatever comes into your mind first. That's how we play this game. You got it? All right. Favorite place you ever lived?
Hawaii.
Worst place you ever lived?
Baytown, Texas.
Oh, now you got to throw the Texas in there. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but I love Texas.
No, apparently not.
I should say Anahuac, Texas. Yeah.
Favorite drink?
Mai Tai.
Favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Green juice.
Green juice. Like just juice?
Well, green juice made from greens. It feeds your blood and gives you a lot of energy.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, the only green thing I was like, it's like green grape juice?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, Richie, here we go. Favorite album?
Electric Ladyland.
By?
Jimi Hendrix.
Oh. Favorite live concert?
Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Good pull. That's a good pull. I wasn't expecting that one. I was thinking like more like Live Aid. I don't know why. I don't know. I was thinking Live Aid. All right. Favorite writer?
What kind of writer? Music or
favorite book?
Author?
Yes.
Ray Bradbury.
And what is your favorite
Martian
book?
Chronicles. Ray Bradbury. Martian Chronicles.
Oh, that's awesome. If you, Richie, one more. If you were president for one day, what would you change?
If I was president for one day, what would I change? Well, it's hard to change when you're a president in one day.
Yeah.
But I it's a thing. But I'd make an executive order for humanity, and I would say it's mandatory to stop the BS.
See, that's a good one. I mean, I don't have anything to say. That's actually a pretty good one. Everybody kind of always gets stumped on that one for whatever reason, and they're like, "I'll bring world peace." It's like everybody wants world peace. I mean, even the Miss Americas want world peace. So, all right, Darlene, what is your favorite author, or who is your favorite author?
So I'd have to say I've got a whole stack of books right here. Right now, it's Greg Braden. His latest book is Pure Human. It's about how it's harder and harder for us to navigate as pure humans.
Who is your favorite artist, aside from Richie?
Frida Kahlo. You talking about music or artist?
No, I mean that's a good artist.
Frida Kahlo is my favorite painter, and my artist growing up would have been Led Zeppelin. So,
what? Okay, that leads me to my next question. What is the most unheard? Well, I don't want to say unheard of or obscure song by Led Zeppelin that it's a great hit, great song, but nobody really knows. That you think?
I mean, I think they're all equally fun, but some of the old favorites, Houses of the I'm thinking of obscure ones.
They had a lot of influences as far as like musicality. They had some Latin influences in there too.
Gosh, I just remember all of them. I used to do Led Zeppelin specials with my best friend back in high school. We had a radio station. So we played all of them. So, yeah.
I'll tell you mine by Led Zeppelin, and not a lot of people know this song. It's "Fool in the Rain."
Yeah.
Great song. The first time I heard it, I was like, that is my ringtone, and it has been my ringtone for over 10 years. I don't care who knows it. That is my ringtone. That is my song. And actually, there is a remake by a Spanish group, a Spanish band called Maná, and they redid it. It's called Tonto Bajo la Lluvia, which means "Fool in the Rain." And it's got a mariachi in the very end of it. It's awesome.
Wow.
I recommend it and listen to it. All right. Favorite, Darlene, one more. Who is your favorite historical figure?
I'd say Jesus. Yeah.
Okay. Aside from Jesus, who is your? Well, hold on. Who is your favorite military historical leader?
Probably Patton.
That's a different poll. I would have never expected that. I would have thought more like MacArthur.
No, I just my grandfather served under Patton, and just the stories that I've heard, and I realize it wouldn't necessarily have to be a U.S. leader, historical. I could have said Julius Caesar or something like that, but just all of the things that came about to create the United States that we live in right now. There's a lot of generals that played a big part in that.
Yeah. Richie, what about you? Who was your favorite military leader?
George Washington.
He, people contrary to popular belief, his teeth were not made of wool or wood. What is your favorite quote that you either live by or that you just you resonate with, Richie?
That's a difficult one. I don't really have quotes that I could really verbatim just whip it off here. I mean, I'm inspired by people's quotes. One quote I've heard is that if there's a hell, earth would serve. Mm-hmm. And that means a lot, because what I was saying earlier, that we need to create heaven, because it's tough here on planet Earth for a lot of people. Number one, nobody gets out alive. Right. Number two, we go through a lot of stuff here, and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're poor, rich, whatever. We all have a road to go down.
So I'm going to open up the phone lines in the studio. The phone number is 888-570-3622. We're going to take some of the calls and some questions from our audience if they're listening and they want to come in. If you guys questions for Richie and or Darlene, and I know Jesse's probably going to come back here in a minute, but we'll open the phone lines for anybody to call in. But I'll give you my favorite quote and my favorite leader.
Oh, good.
My favorite quote is by Winston Churchill, and one of the regrets I have, the quote is never ever quit. And for me, have I quit several things? Yes. Do I regret it? Yes. Every day. Could have gone differently, but obviously God had a different plan for me at that point in time. So obviously I didn't really think anything much of it or anything like that. So, so that's what it is. But that's my favorite quote. As far as my favorite leader, I think MacArthur is one. In one of his most famous quotes is when he was giving an address to Congress, and he said, old soldiers never die; they just fade away. And he said that the story was that he was in the academy in the Army Academy one time, and he heard it through the halls, and that's all they played. It's old soldiers never die; they just fade away. And with anything, he left a long-lasting legacy, and that's what we try to do. At least that's what I'm trying to do here. Try to leave a legacy or some type of footprint with my platform that I can help veterans, and I'm sure just like your organization is trying to do the same thing. Leave a legacy of servitude and being able to help others. And it's not just about veterans; it's just about helping our community and ourselves, and being a cohesive, collective, people. That's really what it boils down to, and that's what I really feel like. And again, I'm just so thankful for people like you that take it upon yourselves to use your contacts, your influences, and able to help a community like the veteran community, and even the minority community, any type of minority community, because we're all minorities at some point. And it just help in the community itself, for people that are hungry, people that are homeless, let's like the president said, and I people will always say that, oh, why do you resonate so much with MAGA? Well, make America great again. We, like you said earlier, Richie, we have lost a sense of patriotism. We have lost a sense of self, and just our pride as far as being America. Why are we giving so many millions and billions of dollars to other countries where we can't even fix our own homelessness ratio here? Why can't we feed ourselves? Why can't we do all this? This is where your organization comes in. We're trying to not only expose that, but really just be make people aware of what is really going on within our government. One of the biggest things, and please share with me if you guys agree or disagree with this. One of the biggest problems I have with our way of governing right now is the term limits with Congress, term limits with representatives. There's no term limits. They just become a political career. They make it forever. That was not the way that our government was actually intended. It was supposed to be you're a public servant, meaning that you have a business on the outside, and then you're able to serve. Not for a long period of time. But the biggest problem I have with that is that after a 2-year term in Congress, these people end up getting lifetime benefits, meaning medical, anything you think of as far as lifetime. And me, as a veteran, have to retire after 20 years. I'm not able to get any benefits other than the VA. If it's service connected, I can't get my retirement after 2 years. I have to serve the entire 20. That's where I have the problem with, because I have to go to the VA, and a lot of times they're severely understaffed, for one. Two is people in Congress end up going to private healthcare. I mean, they go to like Walter Reed in DC, and they get all these benefits after 2 years. How is that? How is that fair?
But I don't think it is fair. And they're also making rules for the rest of us that they don't have to follow. While they were cracking down on every state trying to create vaccine mandates, they were exempt from that. But they were making trying to make it difficult for those of us who didn't believe in that, number one. And, in some places succeeded, but the only state in the United States that didn't shut down anything and comply with anything was North Dakota. So bravo to them for that. So,
yeah, like I said, I was deployed in Syria, so we really didn't get much of it. We just kind of got like the tail end of it, I guess. And to me, the masks were just the dumbest thing in the world. I'm like, this is just dumb. I'm sorry. It just was. And then for Dr. Fauci to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we really didn't need that," and then there was footage of him having the mask, and then as soon as they went off the air, he took it off. Like, what the hell is that? Like, that makes no sense to me. You know what I mean?
And the psychological damage it did to children who need to see facial expressions, it's untold what's coming out of that still.
Yeah. Sorry, Richie, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I mean, the big picture is quite simple. It's that 20% that just want to line their pockets and think about their own families. And also, there's some psychopaths involved that do want to depopulate the world because they're cowards and they're afraid of everybody else. That's that part of that 20% crowd. The 80%, and when you look at what Doge is doing right now, every veteran should be just up in arms about this, because the trillions of dollars that was spent other which ways could have gone into the veterans and there'd be no problem. So that's what we need to turn around, is we need that money redirected and handling the veterans now. So there's a veteran that is always taken care of, and people in general, anybody in need. There's no reason to be living in, the kind of condition that all these homeless people are living on the streets now. Yeah. They could have easily done it, but all they do is keep on getting their, in their stocks and bonds, keep growing. And as their families get sicker and sicker because of their corruption and greed, they don't even realize that it's not about the money and the material. It goes back to the Native Americans. Native Americans had the priorities right. It's about family. It's about living off the land. And it's okay to have a lot in your life, but it's not right. And that's what we're here to correct, and that this will never happen again. We let the 20% go do their thing, but they're not going to affect our American way of life. And now that we do have a shot, right now, we have a small window of time for us to be able to support and to be able to make a better world out there right now. And it's right now. And that's hence why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, no, and it's just so awesome that we're gonna be able to, and I'm putting this out there now, and I know the telethon is gonna be in June 6th. Sorry, I knew it was early June. I'm hoping that you guys can come back in around May to promote it, and you guys are more than welcome to come back on the show and promote all this stuff, so we can actually get hopefully we can even live stream it through here. So that would be awesome if we could do that.
That'd be wonderful.
I'm sure we could definitely love that. So, but
well, it's platforms like this that make what we're trying to do so powerful, so that we can get the word out. And which takes me to my favorite quote, which is, "Those who say it cannot be done should not interrupt the person doing it." And so, it doesn't matter who says you can't. What do you believe that you can do inside? And then voices like this all come together through platforms like yours, and then we become unstoppable in making the changes that the majority of Americans would like to see.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, Americans are they don't want to. Some don't want to change. They're just content with whatever they have. And I'm like, why? That you just literally just what somebody else said, you're just being a sheep. You're just well,
they've given up.
Yeah, pretty much.
They've given up, but we don't have to give up. It's out there for us. It's just being redirected from where it is right now. Like,
exactly,
the answer's coming.
Exactly. So I know we're almost there, and I think these next 4 years are going to be crucial and critical for everybody to finally realize what where we need to be and how we need to be, because it's imperative that we wake up and start taking our country back, one piece at a time, one day at a time. And that's where you guys' organization comes in. And I'm sure that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of veterans that will join that fight, because that's what we joined. That's what we wanted, to make sure that our children we're going to live in a world that that can just go outside and not worry about being taken or whatever. I remember growing up and just being gone for the rest of the day. My parents were like, "Did you eat? Yeah, what'd you eat? I don't know, berries off the street." I was fine.
Water out of the hose, right? So.
That's right. That's like everybody knew the social media. Everybody knew where everyone was at, because all the bikes were parked outside in the yard. We all knew where we were, So, and then our parents had to be reminded where we were. In NBC, member, do you know where your kids are at 10 o'clock? Right. So those were the days. I wish we could have that America back, because that's how I remember it. It was great, just being able to be, carefree and in a way. We've lost that. We definitely have lost that. And I'm sure you guys growing up were your experience was a little bit different than mine, but I remember at 16 I'm like, yeah, I want my own car so I can just start going back and forth. And now I have a 26-year-old son that I literally had to force him to drive, and he didn't get his license till he was 18. I had to force him. I was like, I cannot take you everywhere. I am not going to be your taxi. You're going to have to learn how to drive. And he's like, what for? I'm like, dude, we're in Arizona. For one, we were living in Arizona. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going out in this damn Yuma heat for you to, for me to, melt away. And you were talking about melting away. That is the worst melt away place ever. So yeah, I'll just shut up on that one. But Richie, I want you to play another song for us, man. I love the fact that you're here with us today, and I'm probably gonna have to bring you back as a musical guest, because there's so many more other questions that I want to ask you in regards to this, to your career and how how you're just been inspired and have inspired others to follow in your footsteps. So I want to ask you at some point to come back as a musical guest for me.
Absolutely, my brother. Yeah. And as you're talking about it, I have a title track of a record that I released, which I never really released it, but it went to all the major press and it got 5 stars everywhere. But this is a song that I wrote called Days of Innocence. And it's very fitting for exactly what you were just talking about.
Awesome. Let's hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, here on Voice of the People, BUC Digital, and also on Patriot Radio, Richie Onori. Take care.
Going back to those good old days, hanging with my friends, my childhood memories. Mama's cooking, it's a Saturday night. We're playing guitar and singing all right to the Stones and the Beatles and Marvin Gaye. Radio's blasting every night and day. Surf music, crank it up, oh Johnny, be good tonight. I wanna go back to a magic time where the heart of music lives. Oh, take us back, where friends and family all had so much to give. I wanna go back to a time we call the day of innocence. And we were singing sha na 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 na, sha na 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 na, the days of innocence. Remember when you drove all night, the lights were shining, the moon was bright, your little honey sitting by your side, she's whispering love and you're ready to ride, your foot on the pedal and you're ready to fly, rock and roll music on the radio, those were the days of Johnny Be Good Tonight. I want to go back to a magic time where the heart of music lives. Oh, take us back, where friends and family all had so much to give. I want to go back to a golden age where love and truth exist. I want to go back to a day we had the day of innocence. Come on, everybody, sing. Oh, come on, Shana. And we were singing right out. Shana, na, 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 na. Come on, Caesar.
Na 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 na.
Shana, na, 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 na. Now the world's a different place. People lost in cyberspace. On your cell phones you can't replace. Has the music died? And we were singing sha na 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 na. Come on, everybody. The days of innocence.
Oh my God! What a way to end the show! Oh my gosh, Richie, thank you so much for that. That's dude, that is awesome. I was never expecting that to be.
It was fitting, right?
It was very fitting. Yes, sir, it was. And I tell you what, our country definitely needs to go back to those days that I miss a lot. You know, I have a 7-year-old daughter, and I tell her about things how I used to grow up, and I was like, hey, I remember having to call your grandma from a payphone. She's like, what is that, Dad? Just give me your phone. She doesn't know, so it's good. But Richie, I'm gonna have you come back as a musical guest. Hopefully it'll be in person, and I'm gonna bring that crazy cat Tom, and perhaps we could do Tom. Man, he said I'm sure he's watching. So big shout out to Tom Cass. He was my first guest here on the Battle Rhythm podcast when I first joined Voice of the People. This is actually my third show with Voice of the People. And also BC Digital. I was on a different radio station before, and they brought me over, gave me a big shot, and just so you guys know, we're probably going to have some very, very good numbers here. I will share those with you once I get the finalized numbers. But we are being listened to in about 190 countries here soon. We're going to have about 65. We have about 65 million listeners, and we're going to have a good time. So we're able to actually live broadcast this telethon for people, our listeners, to hear. Oh my gosh, we are gonna change the world. We're gonna change this country back. We're gonna take it back.
Sounds fantastic.
We're gonna take it back. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much. I want to thank my guest Jesse. I know he had to leave, and I hope the best for him. And I'm gonna have him come back and give us a little bit more of an update later on the telethon. Darlene, thank you so much for being my guest this morning or this morning. I'm already thinking about tomorrow morning.
Is it morning where you are?
Well, I get up at 3 a.m. to go to work, so I can be there by 5, so I can watch the Dodger game because it's gonna be at 5. So.
Well, and then with Richie's song closing us out, it takes me. I did think of my obscure song, "Bring It On Home." So that's we're bringing it on home right now.
That's very fitting, very fitting. So, any last words you want to say to us, Darlene?
Hey, just that, the veterans' needs are real. We're out there. Anybody that would like to donate and come and be a part of this mission that we're doing. There's a lot of moving parts. One person can't do it by themselves. And, or if anybody wants information on holistic methods to work with PTSD or any of that stuff, or to come out and be part of our telethon, to support us in any way like that, we welcome that. We welcome this community. We're creating a community that knows no borders, really.
Right. So just for the people out there, the website for people for New America, it's PFANAUSA.org. Once again, it's PFANAUSA.org. And you can go in there and actually look into all these the great things that they're doing. They're going to have their events up there and everything. So, and also, if you'd like to donate, please go to givebutter.com/vetsinneed. Once again, givebutter.com/vetsinneed. That's for the donation for the gift cards that Jesse was talking about earlier. And hopefully we can get some of this going. I will have all this stuff on our on the links here when I post the video on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook and everything, all my socials, the Battle Rhythm Podcast, or at the Battle Rhythm Podcast, except for X. For whatever reason, I couldn't do that whole thing at X. X is Battle Rhythm Pod. Shorten. Yeah, I know, it's just weird. Anyways, but yes, again, Richie, any last parting words that you have for us, sir?
God bless everyone out there, and God bless the vets. God bless all our nation and our humanity. We are Team Humanity, and may we come together at this moment in time and create a beautiful world for our future generations.
Yes, very well said. And with
and
that,
welcome home, astronauts.
Yes, and for all my Vietnam vets, welcome home. Thank you so much. They never got the homecoming they deserved. And so thank you for that. So with that said, I would like to thank you guys once more for being my guest here today. I know, Darlene, for you it's already 11 o'clock. Richie, for you it's only 8, so you're fine. For me it's 10 o'clock, and it's Cinderella's turning into a pumpkin here. All right, so real quick for my local people here in Texoma, this Saturday, it's a very special birthday for one of your hosts of a certain show in Texoma called the Battle Rhythm Podcast. If you would like to join the party for yours truly, it's going to be a VFW Post 2772 at we're going to be singing some karaoke. I am not 100% sure what songs I'm going to be singing that day, but you bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be singing something that day, because I'm probably gonna be under some type of influence, and I'm not talking about Richie influence. I'm talking about some liquidy influence on those days. And I forgot one more. Darlene, what is your favorite? You did tell me that, didn't you? Your favorite alcoholic drink?
Oh yeah, unfortunately, me and Mai Tais, we have a love-hate relationship.
That's right. And Richie, for you?
Tequila!
Just because Cinco de Mayo is coming around, that's probably why. But once again, so this is the Battle Rhythm Podcast. Next week, I'm going to have a very, very special guest. I hope you guys can join me in watching when I watch this. I'm going to pull his book. This is going to be my guest. This is Khantoum Diary. I'm going to have Paul Reed. Paul Reed is a local veteran, actually grew up in Dallas-Fort Worth area. He actually had, he and I had dinner on this past Friday night. We had steak night over at the BFW Post. He wrote this book after he came back from Vietnam. he wrote this book. He had a diary of a Vietnamese soldier. Didn't know who it was or anything like that, and he had it hidden away for like 20 years. And his mom realized that there was something wrong with him. She didn't really know what it was. He was dealing with PTSD. PTSD was not really recognized during that time. So he had this picture on his computer, and this is like back in the 80s when those Apple computers, the big ones, with the big monitor. He was typing away, writing this book. Well, his mom gave him the diary and said, "Why don't you have it translated?" And then he did, and he said that it changed his life because he realized that Charlie, as they were called, the Vietnamese soldiers, he saw him in a different light, as in a person, not just an enemy. He saw him as in a person. He's like, you know what? He's just like me. He's missing his family. He's missing his girlfriend. He's missing his girlfriend or wife. And how can I hate him? And he says that, he took him, forgave him. He says, I forgive you. And he says, I forgive you too. There was nothing personal at all. It's just the way it was. Weird story about it is that they were able to meet about 30 years later, but then about 5 years after that, the first meeting, they brought the Vietnamese soldier here to the U.S. to Dallas, and for the very first time in history, the VA actually rendered medical services to him, and he actually had some type of heart condition, so they were able to fix it for him at that point in time. And it was such an incredible story. And he's going to be my guest, my live guest. He's going to be telling me all about that. And I've been looking forward to this for several weeks, and it's just awesome. So I hope you guys can watch that. I will send you guys the link, and also I hope you guys are following me now on my socials. And again, it's going to be Paul Reed from Khantoum that wrote the Khantoum Diary, and this is only one of two books. This one is very special to me because he signed it. So it's over here. Yeah, there you go. He signed it, personally signed it, so it was cool. I'm about 1/3 of the page in, so I have not had time to read it. only Richie caught that one. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I know I'm keeping you guys up past your bedtimes. Again, this is Caesar with the Battle Rhythm Podcast. Just so awesome that you guys were able to join me today. And we'll be back next week here on the Voice of the People Radio and TV Network, also on Patriot Radio and on BC Digital Media in the Texoma area. We will be back next week. You guys, thank you so much. I'm signing off. I will see you guys next week. Richie, Darlene, my best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We will be with you guys very, 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 very soon. Adios.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. As we wrap up today's show, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Your support and engagement means the world to us, and we hope you found today's content insightful and entertaining. This episode, along with all previous shows, is available on all major media platforms. Whether you prefer to listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watch YouTube, we got you covered. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review to help us reach more listeners just like you. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Connect with us on social media, where you can join us in our conversation and stay updated on the latest news and episodes. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you once again for being part of the Voice of the People, USA Radio, and TV Network. We look forward to bringing you more exciting content in our upcoming episodes. Until next time, take care.